When we talk about lockdowns and children, we often talk about increased screen time, delayed milestones, lack of socialization. But what happens when your child chooses to stay cooped up in a room? A remote or gaming controller in hand, eyes glued to a video game. It would be fair to say that gaming addiction is flying under the radar, and its impact on your child's health and well-being is slowly coming to light. Take this new study, for instance. It finds that video games may trigger lethal heart problems among some children. Just think of those terms being used in the same sentence: heart problems and children. The research was published in the journal Heart Rhythm. It clearly states, and I quote, "Electronic gaming can precipitate lethal cardiac arrhythmias in susceptible children." Let me explain. A cardiac arrhythmia is an irregular heartbeat. This study finds that playing video games poses a serious risk to children with arrhythmic conditions, underlying conditions. Basically, kids who may have underlying issues which can lead to irregular heartbeat. And in those cases where these ailments often go unnoticed or undiagnosed, video games can in that case prove to be lethal. Imagine this. The child is playing a video game 1 second and suddenly loses consciousness the next. A scary scenario, but it has happened. There have been cases reported of children and adolescents experiencing irregular heartbeat during gaming. And this new research documents this rather strange but distinct pattern among kids. 22 cases were studied, and it was found that multiplayer war gaming was the most frequent trigger for kids losing consciousness. But why is this happening? Well, the study attributes this to the electronic gaming environment. Think about it. It is emotionally charged. If you're a gamer, you'd know this feeling. You lose lives, gain lives, you run out of lives. These are not my words. That's the gaming lingo. You're in an excitable state. And if you have an underlying heart condition, this can prove fatal. That's what this study is saying. Now, we don't want to generalize. The study says that this phenomenon is not common. But now it is becoming more prevalent. So there is a clear concern here. Gaming addiction, it's a story we've looked into multiple times on this show. As video games surge in popularity, their impact, especially on children, needs a review. Look at these figures now. The gaming industry could be worth $321 billion by 2026. The pandemic added to the gaming boom as millions of new players remained glued to their gaming consoles during lockdowns. China and the United States accounted for half of global gaming in 2021. And kids were easy targets for the gaming industry during lockdown. How else were they to spend their time? One report found that children in the US spent much more time playing video games than engaging on social media. In fact, last year, China prohibited minors from playing video games on school days. China likened gaming addiction to spiritual opium. While that may be a bit extreme, let's be frank, it is often hard as a parent to identify when a hobby turns into a habit and when it becomes an addiction for your child. Habit-forming games lure in players back every day. They lull them into thinking there is no other option but to play. And that's exactly what gaming developers want. It's not just about joy and entertainment, but about catching them young. So before you give in to your child's demands and buy the next popular gaming console, think about the risks that come with it. WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.